Okay, it is actually time to change the oil on my Kioti CK3510 tractor. I've had this tractor for a year now, and it's already up to about 200 hours of run time. The reason that I have so many hours on this tractor is I also use this to generate power for my off-grid home, and I have a PTO generator that hooks on the back. So today what we're going to do is very simply use the user manual, go through it. If you don't have a user manual for your tractor, see if you can actually download it online. Many of these tractor companies are putting their manuals online now. This is a great tool and resource to use. I recommend getting the manual before you even start to make sure you have the correct oil and viscosity of oil before you put it in the tractor, because you don't want anything to go wrong with your engine by using the wrong oil. Let's get started. To start with the oil change, I'm going to start on the actual step side of the tractor. For my tractor, it's on the left. It's the easiest access to it at this point. I put some cardboard down on my gravel driveway just for a little bit more comfort for myself. I have basically my oil drain pan to collect the oil when it goes down. They are excellent for keeping the oil in place, and then just take the cap and then you put it into a funnel and drain it off into something you can take to the recycling center later without worrying about spilling. Okay, so put that in place. You can use that for a variety of vehicles. I'm going to be using a 17mm socket wrench. This is a Korean-made tractor, so they're using the metric system on pretty much all the bolts all the way around. That's not a big deal, but just to let you guys know, many of the tractors now are actually made in South Korea. Even the ones that boasted to be US made are going overseas now. They're keeping their larger tractors here to work on, but most cases, Korea is actually the tractor manufacturing hub now for the world almost.
Sorry about that. The camera stopped and I didn't realize it. But anyway, I just pulled those two drain plugs out. Just take a look in there. You got the oil is all draining down into the center. It's kind of like a well effect where it just kind of goes in. You want to make sure you open up the air valve here so that it can actually get into the container. I'm just going to let that drip for a little bit, and when that's done, I'm going to go ahead and prep to take the filter off.
Okay, here's the oil filter for the Kioti tractor. It's on the other side of the motor from where I was before, and all I have to do is basically take this off. Now, usually you need a special tool to do that, so I have one here. This is just a rubber strap that goes around, and then you can use the tension to, break the seal and get it off. I bought this many years ago. I don't even know if they sell these anymore, but it worked. It works. Here is the new oil filter. I went ahead and went to the dealership to get the correct oil filter for this tractor. This is a brand new tractor. It's under warranty, and I want to make sure that I still use the warranty parts to make sure that there's no reason to reject the warranty of anything I did or put on that was not right for the tractor. So I went ahead and just went to the dealership, which is Jordan Sales in Post Falls, and went ahead and got the correct part. Just talking about some of the spacing issues of the Kioti. These tractors do not really have that much space to get to things. This tool here that I'm using is really tight in here, and I might have to do a little bit of trickery to get it out because I got the radiator right here, or the fan shroud for the radiator here, and then I got the motor casing here. If you look up above, just speaking of small, tiny issues, this is the oil fill cap here. You can see this is not going to be easy to get to. I'm going to have to use a funnel system to get that to even add the oil back in. So let's go ahead and take the oil filter off. And that's definitely leaking oil. So you want to get your oil drain pan underneath. And I'll put that in there, let that drip out in the oil pan, and do some cleanup here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take the new oil filter out of the box now. Like I said, you can probably call your dealership or wherever you bought your tractor to get the correct oil filter for your tractor. So this has just got a nice plastic cover to protect it. Just going to pull that off. There we go. And of course, you guys probably know about the oil seal, the rubber seal here. You need to put a little coat of oil on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. I got my oil handy here. And I'm just dipping my finger into the oil and just adding a nice light coat onto that rubber seal there, just so it doesn't have issues, put a little bit on the thread. All right, now I'm just going to put it right on. Make sure I don't cross thread it. Just take it nice and slow. And then it just, once it's on, it just starts to spin on real nice. I'm going to go ahead and see if this will help me get a little bit tighter here. I mean, I don't want to go too tight, but I want to get it on snug enough so there'll be no issues at all. And I can come back and just check it a little bit later. I think it's pretty much done dripping down below. I'm going to go ahead and put the drain plugs back.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the drain plugs back in. It's pretty much done. It's just dripping a little bit, and it's pretty much good enough. So let's go ahead and get that back in. So I got my bolts here. I'm going to go from the far side this time. I've changed the oil in my car. I'm not used to two oil drain plugs. Once again, just a little reminder, using a socket wrench here. That is a 17 millimeter. And these drain plugs, to be honest, I had the wrong size on here to start, and they were starting to round off pretty quickly. So you want to make sure you got the right size socket wrench for these drain plugs. They're not making these drain plugs with the great quality grade bolt that won't round off on you. So don't play that game. You know, sometimes you kind of go, well, I don't have that wrench on me. It's back in the garage. So why not just go ahead and use what I got here? It's not that big of a deal. With a tractor like this, if they don't have the correct grade bolts on here, you can round it off very easily, and that would be very bad. So make sure you don't mess around and just get the right size socket. I got that pretty good in there. It is nice and snug. I still have the gap that the manufacturer had. I didn't over tighten it. You don't want to over tighten these things. I'm just going ahead and wiping around, making sure there's no leaks. These bolts were spray painted black. They were not powder coated. So the first time you touch a socket wrench to it, it's just going to peel that black paint right off. That's a shame. Usually you want a nice powder coated cap that'll match. So hopefully they're stainless, but I'm not sure. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think we're ready to pretty much add oil at this point.
Okay, we're going to be adding oil to the CK3510. And just to kind of show you just how difficult it is to get in there, going down into the engine, this is the oil fill cap right here. There is really not much room to get in there at all. And so to use a funnel, just a regular funnel to get in there, very, very difficult. It'll just spill oil everywhere. So not even plausible. So that goes. What I do have though is a funnel with an extension. What I can do is maybe get the funnel in here, okay, or in through with an extension. The extension itself will actually allow it to go a little bit more at an angle or curve like this, and it's bendy for it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is remove the oil cap, which I've already loosened. Okay, so that's out. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fish it through here and stick it in the best I can. It is not easy to find a good spot for this because of the way the tractor hood is, and also with my loader here. And I kind of want it to be able to just not make a mess. And it almost is like a two-handed job. Just gonna grab a bungee real quick and just kind of try and bungee it into a position, just to make it a little bit easier to get to. I mean, not too much, and you don't want too much of a bend here or the oil will not go where it needs to go. Today's oil that I'm going to use is basically Phillips 66 Fleet Supreme. For this tractor, the correct oil would be a 15 weight by 40. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. You need 6 liters for this tractor. And I have, it's going to take up a full one and a partial of another. And we're just going to go ahead and add it in. So here's my partial. Okay, the oil is all the way up to almost the top of the funnel now. It just needs a little bit of time to catch up. So as you can see, if you're by yourself and you're trying to add oil to the system and in just these tight quarters, it's good to get like an extra help with the bungee if you can't find someone else to help you. My wife is more than willing to help me on these little projects, but many of you probably are working by yourself out in the field, or you're working out in your barn and you just can't find help right away. So just try and get a bungee to be an extra pair of hands for yourself. I'm also watching down below to make sure everything is going in okay and not spilling over the top. This is a 1 US gallon or 3.785 liters. This would be a serious pain in the wintertime because oil gets thicker when it's colder. So on a nice hot summer day like this is a great time to go and change the oil. Maybe even set your containers in the sun so they're pre-warmed and ready to go. So they'll flow very quickly. Just a little trick. You are going to have to do it in the winter. I would definitely recommend putting your oil containers in a heated space like in your house. Just not on the heater and near the heater, that would be just plain stupid. But put it by the front door before you go out. They'll get to the room temperature, and then make sure that when you're ready to change the oil, just go in, grab your oil, and add it at that time. Don't bring it out to the tractor and let it get cold. Now if that extension isn't on securely, we could have some serious oil everywhere. And with oil prices these days, that would not be a good thing. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and check the oil, and if you can see back in here, there is, you can kind of barely see that in this light, but there's a dipstick right here. It's basically almost the orange color of the tractor. You just pull that out, just like that, and then you are going to go ahead and check the oil. Okay. You want to make sure that you're in between the two marks that they have there. Okay, and I am well within that range, and it looks really good. So the oil looks clean now. I got it brand new and changed. Just trying to stay with my maintenance schedule on the tractor. That is how you change your oil on your CK3510 Kioti Tractor. It's probably similar on any other tractor that's out there. The only thing that might be different is the viscosity of oil that you use. It might be different in the type of filter you're going to have, and also the type of drain plugs and the size of those drain plugs. But other than that, that's pretty easy. I'd say it's pretty much like changing the oil in a car, except even easier to get to. All right, good luck. Happy tractor maintenance in the future.